Hey folks, welcome to another VR video. Today I've got something pretty cool. It's two games on the Virtual Boy. It's Tetris week here on the channel. The first game we're going to be playing is a game called 3D Tetris. Alright, so the first release we're going to look at is 3D Tetris, which is the US released Virtual Boy Tetris game. This particular game was one of the last released in the United States, I believe in February 1996. The console sadly was discontinued shortly thereafter. So this manual is a little bit faded. I don't have a manual for 3D Tetris. So we're going to go ahead and flip through this manual, but this is a scan from archive.org. I don't have the manual to make a better version, unfortunately, but we'll flip through and see the instructions for this particular version of the Tetris game. As usual, the first pages are the official seal of quality and the product warning for all Virtual Boy games shows up in that first page. You've got the Tetris copyright notice, copyright 1987, but also copyright 1995. For Nintendo of America in this particular version. It says, "Welcome to a revolutionary type of 3D puzzle game. This version of Tetris is very, very different from the regular game, which you'll see in both the manual and in the gameplay that I'm going to show later. I've played this one on actual hardware. The other Tetris game that I'm going to be featuring, V Tetris, unfortunately, my game is stuck in Japan due to the shelter-in-place laws. Japan Post has not shipped it yet. So before starting the game, this should be very familiar by now for those of you that watch my videos. They want to show you the IPD and focus adjustments, how to make it so that your eyes don't get blurry or strained. Also the automatic pause adjustment, all very, very similar if you've watched any other instruction manual features in these Virtual Boy games. So the controller functions are different for this game than they are for others. The L button changes the perspective of the well, which is where you're dropping the blocks. The R button makes the drop of the block faster or activates a menu selection depending on where you're at in the game. Left plus control pad, or D-pad as I refer to it usually, moves the block in its horizontal plane as it falls. Right rotates the block as it falls. And then select toggles between the automatic rotation of the well or controlling it with the L button. Start accepts a menu item or pauses or starts the game, and then the A and B buttons rotate the blocks clockwise and counterclockwise. So fairly simple instructions. On the title screen, you either press start, the A button, or the R button to start the game. There are three game types: 3D Tetris, center fill, or puzzle. You can also set the difficulty level and the level that you start out on. Similar to other Tetris games, you can start at the lowest level or all the way up to, I think, 9. You can also select the brightness, the depth of the well, and adjust, again, your eyes with the IPD and focus. And then high scores show up on the game select screen as well. The game itself, again, there's a well that you're dropping blocks into, so it's a big block basically, or cube, and you're rotating that cube around as you play, which was a novel concept for a Tetris game at the time. So there is a type A, going for a high score with as many layers as possible, a clear it mode, which is clearing 5 layers of levels to complete the stage. You get a radar in the corner that tells you what block is coming next, similar to other Tetris games. Then there's the center fill game, where you're placing blocks symmetrically around a center square, trying to, again, defeat the different layers of the game. And then scoring is, again, based sort of like Tetris, but it's really based on the form that you're doing here. So you've got the formation examples in the corners here. Those are what really adds up your points, because a normal Tetris isn't going to fly in this particular game. And then there's the puzzle game. In that case, you're trying to get to the goal shape in the puzzle. Then you've got the save indicator and a low battery indicator icon, just in case you're playing the game for hours on end and your batteries are getting low. We finally started to reach the point where we've got the little characters, which is the part that I love about these manuals, are the different character graphics. So we'll go back one page here. You've got this little girl block here, Tetramino. And then you've got kind of a propeller head, it looks like, block. Maybe a muscle or ninja block here. The bandana tied across its head. And as you can see, the different blocks actually show up in the game as well. So when I get into the game, you'll be able to see, hopefully, some of these blocks as well. But the graphics and the characters are exactly why I've got more of a physical collection. I've actually acquired the entire US library except for a game called Jack Bros and a couple of Japanese titles. And in a couple of days, the next video in this series, in the next week or so, I'm going to be featuring a prototype game that was never released that I actually have a physical cartridge of as well. And that's pretty much it for this manual. You've got the important copying of the game is illegal warning, the 3-month warranty, the normal basics to close out the manual, and then the back page. So not as extensive, nothing huge or dramatic in this particular manual. Very limited in the characters also, because you've just got shapes, Tetraminos. But this is the T&E Soft 3D Tetris, the US game, and now we'll jump into some gameplay on this one. Alright, so we're going to jump into some 3D Tetris on the Virtual Boy. This is the US release of Tetris. This came out in 1996. You can see copyright 1996, TE Soft and Nintendo. Copyright 1987, Elorg. Crediting the original creator of Tetris, who I actually got to meet at PAX several years back. That was honestly a very exciting day. I like this little intro. Oh, that's cool. So the Tetraminos popped out and turned into their characters from the instruction manual. That was pretty sweet. And now we're on the logo screen here. I like this logo screen's music. It's very different from the Tetris of old. So I've got 3 different types. We've got 3D Tetris, Center Fill, and Puzzle, which are the 3 options that were in the instruction manual as well. Now the other thing you can do is if you didn't hit start, it actually does a bit of a demo. I'm not going to do that right now though. We'll jump into 3D Tetris. We'll do a little bit of each of these. And as you can see, we can start with level 1 all the way up to level 10 on easy, normal, or hard. I am not the best at any game. But you can see there's a cube here, and that's what we're going to create a Tetris in. So it's automatically moving the well. So you can rotate that well. Keep hitting the wrong button for the B here. So that creates a line now. Now what I want to do is rotate that. Alright. So you can see even in the corner there, We're building one block at a time. Turn that. Hopefully that doesn't hurt us. What's next? Got a 2 block. Now this one. Keep hitting pause. Now what I want to do is actually I want to turn the block in a slightly different manner. Actually, you know what? I know there's a way to do this. There we go. So we got 1,000 points for clearing. I'm gonna go ahead and put this up here, just to be safe, because I don't know what the next block that's coming in is. And that'll clear that one. I just realized it's actually showing the character of what each block is as opposed to the block of each block. That's kind of cool. I like that. The radar is actually the character that's coming out as opposed to... That's really neat. Do another clear there. That should fit here. Now I got just a sort of small one here. I'm kind of feeling like at this point it's just getting repetitive though. Like we have reached that level, we're now on level 3. Still building this nice cube, filling in layer after layer It's almost like a bricklaying game as opposed to a Tetris game. In fact, it even looks like bricks in the corner picture that we're building out. But I do like the fact that they added characters for the Tetraminos. It's a little thing, but it's a thing that I actually enjoy a lot. But just a little bit more of this one. Now, this is the interesting thing, is those are now 2 different levels there. So if we put this here, you see there's another raised up level above it. And the controls on this one are very clunky. As I'm sure you saw when I first started, I was hitting pause a ton. Now we'll see these fall. One more row to fill here. And that should just leave that one block there. And it does. Alright. We'll just do one more row here. I think you get the general picture of how this game works. Now, one of the things I could certainly do is I could change the image so you can see different rotations of the well, but I honestly feel like this head-on rotation is, I don't want to say easiest, but that's how I feel. This is the easiest rotation that's available. It's just looking at it head-on like this. Now the thing that it does, though, is doing it like this could really be just a flat game and wouldn't make much of a difference. This one's now going to have 2 blocks raised up. And from there, I'm going to go ahead and pause. Let's see. We're going to... So if we go to eyes, you can actually adjust your eyes. And then if you hit give up, that gives up on this particular mode. We're going to give up on the mode end here. And we're going to try center fill next. We're going to just do a quick look at center fill. With center fill, you can see there's a little center that you need to get to. Again, we can make it I like this one more. We did the center fill there. This one's got definitely better. Let's do that. Level up bonus, alright. And that should do the center fill, which will make it all disappear. Wow, it didn't. That actually kind of shocks me. I thought that was gonna... That was interesting. I didn't expect it to do that much. So the one thing I like about this center fill is it's actually giving me more blocks to work with, which the other mode really was kind of lacking in, to be honest. I'll make that block disappear, and so forth. So that is a quick look at center fill. Now we're going to pause one more time, give up again. We'll do one look at the puzzle mode. Now with puzzle mode, you're trying to clear the puzzles. I'm going to start with stage 1. We're only going to really do stage 1 here so you can see what it's like. It's a 10-block puzzle. Oh no, I wasn't paying attention to what the puzzle was. You're supposed to replicate that puzzle. Well, you get the general idea. You're supposed to replicate the puzzle. That's the 3 different modes of 3D Tetris available in 1996 on the Virtual Boy. Alright, so for our second Tetris game of the day, we've got V Tetris, which was the Japanese release for the Virtual Boy. This is a completely different game. This one's by Bulletproof Software, and it released, I believe, in the second wave of titles in 1995 in Japan. So V Tetris is very similar to the original Tetris game. As we get into the manual, of course the manual is in Japanese. I don't speak Japanese, but you've got a very similar Tetris copyright notice for 1987 ELORG, that it was licensed to Bulletproof Software, and instead of having a copyright Nintendo this time, it says copyright 1995 Bulletproof Software, all rights reserved. There are A, B, and C games. Again, you've got the same focus on IPD notice that you normally have on every single first couple of pages of these manuals. The automatic pause feature. And then the controls. Now I cannot read these controls because it is in Japanese. But you can see the controller illustrations here. This goes into the different modes. Now these manual scans are a lot more blurry than the manual scans for a lot of the titles I actually own the manuals for. I'm hoping when this game finally ships to me, I'll be able to show a better copy of this manual, but because it's Tetris Week this week on my channel, I wanted to make sure I feature both of these titles. And you've got the different Tetramino blocks, the different game modes here. Here's game A. Looks very similar to a normal Tetris game. Game B, again, very similar to a normal Tetris game. And game C, which is the one that's a little bit different. In 3D Tetris, you're playing the game in a giant cube. This particular version of V Tetris in game mode C is a loop Tetris. Now, loop Tetris lets you play in a cylinder. So it's, again, a novel concept that takes advantage of the Virtual Boy a little bit better than the normal game mode A or game mode B. And also unique to the Virtual Boy in that it's not the same mode that you would see in 3D Tetris. Both of the companies making these games have had completely different, unique spins on the title. And in game mode C, you actually are rotating the cylinder as you're filling up that Tetris as well. Scoring points for A and B, scoring points for C. Lots more scoring, it looks like, for game mode C here. And then I'm not really sure what this is referring to. And then you've got your back of the manual. Now, the back of the manual, again, isn't showing any Nintendo graphics. So this particular title by Bulletproof Software, if you go all the way to the beginning here, it says it's for the Virtual Boy. Gives you the product number that would be for this particular product, the View VTRJ Japan. First page doesn't have the Nintendo seal of quality. So it's almost like it's an unlicensed game, even though this was absolutely a licensed title that was available for the Virtual Boy. So now again, jump into some gameplay. We'll be playing some V Tetris as well. So now we're jumping into the Japanese V Tetris, which is the alternative Tetris game that's available on the Virtual Boy. Again, always turn on auto pause. Bulletproof Software has their logo here at the beginning. You will notice no mention of the word Nintendo here, which is super weird for me on a Virtual Boy title. This is kind of disorienting, to be honest. This opening screen with the star field here. We are playing V Tetris. There's a little clown here holding a Tetramino. We've got Mode A, Mode B, and Mode C. Modes A and B are basically the same thing. Then you've got 3 different musics. None of them are the same as the original Tetris game. And then you've got silence. We're going to go with this music C. I kind of like it as kind of a jam. Selecting level is a little different also. You've got kind of a level meter here that goes all the way to 19. We're going to start at level 0 because that's what I always do. And then you've got graphic types A and B. I'm not sure what those do, but we'll go with type A. And we've got that weird disorienting star field behind us, but this is essentially just your normal Tetris game. Now, I've been playing a lot of Tetris this week. Still not a pro, but I would say that I've had a lot more time playing Tetris this week than I have in probably 15 years. I'd also say the Tetraminos are not being very friendly. Wow. And when the lines realize that it's time for them to break up and get ready to disappear, it is actually a pretty disorienting effect on the Virtual Boy here. Again, no real luck with the Tetraminos this time. This is pretty wild. This is crazy. The giant stack of death here. But yeah, that's not very comfortable. Mostly just as it's causing the blocks to disintegrate or disappear is it a problem, but just overall, if I'm going to play a Tetris game like this, I'd rather be comfortable and play it on a flat screen than play it like this. Let's see what I get here. Not too much. I'll get a Tetris. Oh, still only got 3. Boo. Now we'll get a Tetris. And it turns into a V. Kind of a spaceship-y V as well, which is kind of cool. Yeah, we're gonna probably die in a second here. See what happens. Whoops. I kind of like the little rocket effects like that in the background. And I appreciate the fact that they kept this game very traditional in the Tetris mold. Wow. So I am absolutely going to die in a second here. Now, one of the things I mentioned as we went through the instruction manual is Type A and Type B of this game are very similar to one another. So we're not going to play Type B. I'm going to jump straight to Type C. Uh-oh. And there's our game over. So we've got the classic endless Type A. Put in our high score. Hey, I have the top high score on V Tetris. First time playing it on the emulator here. So we'll go to V Tetris again. This time we're going to try game type C. And let's try graphic type B. I'm not sure what this does differently. I guess the star field gets taken away. And as you can see, you can move the blocks around. This is a cylinder of blocks this time. You're still trying to create Tetrises, but you're trying to create them in a cylindrical manner. And again, very similar looking to the standard Tetris game. It's a little confusing when you're playing it to determine, like, that's still a row, but you've got a whole cylinder to fill. There's another row. And see, filling the cylinder has consequences. So it's a very different spin on the game. It's called Loop Tetris. And I honestly kind of like this mode. This is, of the Tetris games available on Virtual Boy, this is the mode that I like the best. Clear a bunch there. And now we've leveled up. So this is, again, V Tetris. This is the Japanese game. This is the Loop Tetris mode, which is the mode that I like the best of all of the Tetris game modes for Virtual Boy. But again, a game that could very easily have been made in a manner that would just be playable on a standard flat screen, and I wouldn't know any different. There's one I can slide in there. So give us a couple more lines. I got a V, levels up again. And that gives you the overall general gist of this game. So we'll go ahead and exit out. Alright, hope you enjoyed that quick look at 2 different Virtual Boy Tetris titles that came out in the very short console lifespan of the Virtual Boy between 1995 and 1996. Again, I already own the physical copy of 3D Tetris. I'm not sure which of the two I prefer. They're both somewhat unique concepts. I feel like V Tetris is very close to the original game in game modes A and B. In the loop Tetris mode, it's still closer to the original game than what 3D Tetris does. 3D Tetris is really not Tetris to me. It's a very different type of Tetris game. Both carry the brand, both represent the brand, but I think V Tetris is closer to the original vision of the game, if that makes sense. Again, both of them are titles that I would say, they fall into the category of average or okay titles as opposed to standout titles on the Virtual Boy. The titles that I've played that I've really loved on Virtual Boy are games like Tolero Boxer, which uses the 2D pads in a very unique way and feels the most like a Virtual Boy VR game as opposed to just a 3D game looking at a red image in front of me. Bound High, which is a prototype game that I'll be playing on the channel soon. Space Squash, which is a Japanese title that I have a physical copy of. Red Alarm, which is very much similar to Star Fox, and Wario Land, Virtual Boy Wario Land, which is a fantastic platformer. So all of those games add something that there's a unique spin and a distinction that makes them really suitable for that 3D environment. Both of these games, I don't know, I feel like both of them could be played on a flat screen without a problem. I did play exclusively on the Virtual Boy Go emulator for V Tetris. I haven't played that on hardware yet, so I can't really pass judgment on how well it plays on the original hardware. But both of these games are games that if you were just starting out a library and you wanted to be selective in what you were trying to get, I would probably pass. V Tetris, though, if you can get a copy from Japan, is extremely inexpensive to round into your collection. I think I paid $10 US if it ever ships to me. 3D Tetris is one of the rarer United States titles, so it can cost upwards of $100. I think I paid $80 or $85 for it, and that came without the instruction manual, without the box. So low-end cost, super high-end cost for a game of Tetris. Personally, I think I would prefer playing the original Tetris on Game Boy, or moving forward 20 plus years to Tetris Effect, which I played earlier this week. I hope you've enjoyed this video and this look at 2 Virtual Boy Tetris titles. I'll be back with more VR content soon. Until next time, get out there and enjoy some VR for yourself, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye now.